kwa sasa let's go straight into our first topic ambapo tunaongea kuhusu the youth. Vijana. Kijana ni nani? Who's a youth exactly?
Okay, naweza sema youth ni between the age of let's say 16 and 35 hapo. 16 to 35.
Even kwa constitution imeandikwa hivyo.
Who knows the significance of this day?
Today is the international day of the youth. Basically, it's a global day where young people are celebrating it.
The ages that define who the youth are in this society, particularly Kenya, have not been defined very well. So you find people at the age of 40, 50 still claiming to be youth, and we have such leaders who claim to be youth. So at the end of the day, we do not know what role the youth are playing, especially those in political circles. Don't look at the government when you yourself are doing a lot of nothing.
Like, or you say, like personally, what do you do?
I have met up with a few of my youth, people who share ideas, same ideas as I do. We go out, like last weekend, I must say, I was in Huruma trying to see how we can give charity. There's one group that has really been neglected. We are looking at the street families. Who are there mostly? They don't live to get to the ages of 60. So the youths are the ones who are on the streets. What are we doing for our fellow youth? We go out, we do not have the resources, yes, but you talk to someone who will listen to you. And I'm glad there's a lady who listened to me and she gave me 5 bundles of unga. Who does that today in Kenya?
Taking her example of giving food, it's not something that can last them for long. But if you like go to school and then you create some sort of employment for them, that will create a lasting solution. Giving them food handouts will create some sort of dependency even for themselves.
Somebody may have gone to school, may have that education, but the problem is, where are the resources? Parents were struggling maybe to pay fees, they get the fees, school fees, but at the end of it all, when they get that education, they are so, and they also look, they like complaining. How come there are so many people out there, they have gone to school, no jobs? How come these people who are they are in 60 years, 75 years, and they are still on job? How come we are not given an opportunity? So you find a lot of conflict.
Do you feel like the youth are being represented in our country the way they should?
The youth representation, I can say it has really been very low. Even with the promulgation and the bringing in of the new constitution, it has so many clauses talking about youth representation. But what are we seeing? Even in this commission that have been formed, there should be youth representation. They are not being there.
Kina kwa nini unafikiria youth kidogo ni kama tunasaulika? We only come up when either the politicians want to misuse us or so that we in a negative light.
The youth in Kenya have been viewed negatively. And it's because of what the youth have been doing. Yes? You find very few groups of the youths are positive. But most of the times you find that most of the groups just come together towards the elections. If I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, yeah? But most of them come together when we are nearing the elections. Why? Because the mentality of, okay, let's kula kitu here, you know?
Like there are some youth help groups that try and eradicate like things like drugs in some slum areas, ghettos and everything. So, when politicians come in to know like the whole project thing, youths feel like there's something that they want out of that. Like for example, getting votes. Unamungisha kazi kisha he doesn't deliver what he promised. Ndio maana my youth will feel hurt sana, ndio maana wao react.
That is why politicians will take advantage again and again to use us for their own selfish ends. Why can't we stand up and say, no, we want a different Kenya? Let's stop killing each other, because that time, if you want to tell me, most of the people who died, who are they? The youth. The old, never, unless you're Basak. Yeah? They don't go killing each other.
We, as young people, some of us are killing our own ideas. Because if I come up with a way in which we can be able to engage the other young people, then another young person comes on board and sees it as a means in which they can use it to gain their personal gains or something of the sort, then we tend to get into a conflict. But what are you trying to say? We are trying to say as young people, as my fellow colleague amesema tu hapa nyuma, that as young people we need to come on board with positiveness.
Okay, kwa sasa wacha tuangalie a small insert tumetengeneza ikiwa na maelezo zaidi.
Matatu The role of the youth in national development is participatory, that they must be involved in all spheres of decision-making organs in this country, so that they can therefore give valuable contribution towards the Vision 2030. The National Youth Council should be the legitimate organ for youth representation in this country, and therefore nobody should pretend to represent the youth, either be it a member of parliament or cabinet minister or anybody else. The young people are not represented. What we have is all manner of youth organization. The plan to have a National Youth Council was to streamline main youth issues, that there must be a youth desk in every ministry to address the issues particularly that concern young people. Old people advise, they mobilize young people and ask them to commit violence on their behalf and promise them all manner of goodies. And when they get to power, they dump them. There are many young people who mean well, who want to change this country. All we need is being organized and focused, and then we'll get the desired results. As long as young people will be united and have one voice, then this country will never be the same again.
Do you think the youth in this country are ready for leadership?
I think the youth have basically a lot of energies. And these energies, if compressed and maybe put to positive, towards a positive goal, they are good.
Charity begins at home. That's why some of the youth, yes, they can be given those leadership tasks, but it depends on what he did at home, because that's the initial step. What has he been doing, so that he can reflect on his image.
Ni nini wazazi wanafaa kufanya encourage our youth, at least ndo hiyo energy yao wa channel in the right way? Madam,
Vizuri to encourage. Kuna kazi uwezi kufanya kuletea. Hata kama umesoma, unaweza kosa kazi ya ofisi na uanzie kazi nyingine ya biashara na kupatia mapato yako.
When I was growing up, my mother didn't just want to look at me being number one. She was always there on toes. Do you know how to cook? Do you know how to clean? Do you know how to respect the others? If I was to make any mistake, even the neighbor had a right to beat me up. But what happens nowadays? Parents are so busy trying to earn a living that they've forgotten about their children. They've forgotten that apart from being number one, I need to see this person grow up to be a better person in society.
The problem with our youth is that they are very aggressive and they don't know what they are aggressive for. At the same time, they make groups without thinking about the consequences of these groups. So I believe that upbringing also is contributing from our parental. There's a problem in parenting this, and even the environment. So this youth, when they grow up, they think life is going to be very smooth. So when they reach at that point, they can do anything, even to destroy, without realizing.
is there hope for the youth ya kwamba kweli tunaweza chukua usukani wa nchi yetu, we drive it where we want it to go?
Nasema ndio. Mainly because everyone has a talent. There are very many venues where you can exploit and like nurture your talent. Churches, like NGOs, and even you yourself. Kazana too, and let's stop greed. Kwa sababu this fast life, this time for everything.
Hivi nowadays wanajua sana. Yani hata ukijaribu kuwaelezea wanaona wanajua zaidi kuliko hata huyo mzazi. Ukienda kuongelesha hivyo wanakuonyesha wanajua zaidi. So lazima hata wao wa change.
Change begins with yourself. You know. Then you'll be able to push it to your neighbor. Now, for example, if I have something positive, we'll be able to share with him. He'll be able to share with him. Yeah. And if we share within this Matatu here, right, we'll be able to come out of this Matatu and say that today we're going to move this project. And once we start working on it, believe you me, we'll be able to boost the same energies to even other young people who will be able to we basically be able to also mentor other young people to come up with positive ideas. So we have a lot of energies that just needs to be redirected into something very positive, and Kenya will be very fun.
Our parents, what they can do for us is like inform us more than they warn us. If you're informed, you know the negative aspect of taking the drug, and you build yourself more than the warning. The warning will just be serve for some time, but the information that you are fed, that will mold you into a better person. So may I also think that the youth are ready for leadership. They make the right. If only they, with the good guidance from parents, they can make the right choices to lead this country to a better place.
It has just reminded me when anytime I would make a mistake, my dad would quote, I think it was Proverbs or something, mwana mwenye hekimani. Something, you know. Lakini mwana mpumbavu ni mzigo kwa mamaye. So that thing has always, you know, sometimes when you're told something and when you're growing up, you'll tend to use the same knowledge to nurture your own kids. So I think parenting still plays a very big role. Caning should come back because the society is getting rotten. Yeah, the youth we still have hope of salvaging the youth, but it's us the youth who will salvage ourselves, not our parents anymore.
And on that note, wacha tuende kwa streets kupata maoni huko, then we'll be right back.
I don't feel I'm well represented. Yeah, because most of the people who say they're representing us is these politicians who are actually beyond 40 years of age.
Youth wanastahili kushughulikiwa na wakubwa, lakini katika hali ya hao youth wao wenyewe wachionyeshe.
I don't feel we are represented. We need to represent ourselves.
The young should be represented by themselves, not the elderly, nor the government.
Kenya is filled with young people. We are the most population here, and yeah, we should be well represented. We should stand up on our feet and fight for our rights.
Alright, Ian Moni out to street. We're going to a short break. We'll be right back on Matatu.